Good morning. It's Monday. How are you? The school run's done, and where I am in Wiltshire at the moment, believe me, it's grey and rainy, but we're going to have a sunny week, and I want to share a simple piece of inspiration with you, 4 passionate world changers today, to fire you up for your week. So, I was driving back from Sussex to Salisbury late last night, and my 11-year-old was talking to me about the climate change stuff that came out last week and the fact that fracking is starting again this week in the UK. And he was saying, you know, if they're saying we've got 12 years to turn things around, what can we do? And he was feeling totally powerless. How can I make a difference? I don't have a vote. I don't have a voice. I don't spend money. And everything in his dialogue was about how he couldn't do anything. He couldn't do enough to make a difference. And he's not alone. Okay, I see people looking at their plastic waste going, oh, but I can't fix this. I can't get plastic free. So here's what we're doing. We're setting the bar up here. Yeah, it's basically you've got to aim for that perfection or you've failed. And this triggers all of those mind stories about being a failure, about not being good enough, about how perfect is essential, which means we never get things finished. And particularly if you're a passionate world changer running a business, it means you'll have courses or books or programs that are there as great ideas, but they never actually make it out into the world because of the stories we're telling ourselves. So if we look then back at this environmental challenge of what can we do, we're all sat there going, well, I can't fix this on my own. You've got the media saying, this is bigger than the public, this is down to business and government, it's their job to fix it. All of us are talking to ourselves about how we can't do enough to fix the problem, to get it perfect, to get it right. Yeah, we're looking at bin bags saying, but I still have a bin bag. And we're beating ourselves up because we haven't reached the level of perfection of not having any rubbish or not having recycling and not consuming. The more we tell ourselves stories about what we can't do and how we can't do enough, the more we're going to paralyze ourselves so that we do nothing. So the simple mindset shift I want to share with you today, instead of focusing on how you can't do enough and maybe you're too busy and you're too overwhelmed, focus on the one thing you can do. Yeah? Maybe that one time you go out, you remember your reusable bottle instead of having to buy a plastic bottle. Celebrate the one action you did take, rather than beating yourself up about the 10 that you missed. If we do this with the tiny stuff, yeah, it's the whole thing behind my book, A Year Full of Gratitude, is celebrate the tiny things and they grow to be big things. You reprogram and rewire the neurology in your brain. If you listen to the podcast, if you've got the book and you're in the Readers Club, you'll know this stuff now. The more we focus on celebrating what we have done and the little steps and the little actions we have taken, the more the big stuff will follow. Because actually, it's lots of tiny steps that change the world, not one great big massive one. When I was co-leading the EU VAT Action campaign, which incidentally is still running because of Brexit, yes, we had breakthroughs, but they came on the back of lots and lots and lots of tiny actions. It was very rarely exciting, great big fat actions that created change. Yes, when we got EU VAT trending on Twitter, that was a big action that came as a result of lots of small things. If we'd spent our time telling ourselves all the things we couldn't do and how it would never be enough, we never would have taken action. So this is the biggest thing that stops us on our dreams is, I'm too busy. I can't get it done perfectly. Who am I to do that? I'm not good enough, old enough, young enough, fat enough, thin enough, pretty enough, whatever enough. I'm not enough. Yeah. So we don't take action. My answer to my 11-year-old last night is, okay, what could you do? And we started with really small things, turning lights off, yeah, and drinking filtered water instead of bottled water, and choices about making sure we walk to school in pretty much every weather, because every time we walk instead of taking the car, we've done something. Celebrating what we are doing and what we are achieving instead of beating ourselves up about we're not. That is your mindset shift today. Do that mindset shift, you will start making an even bigger difference in the world. You will enjoy the journey. And those of you who get my newsletter will know on Friday I sent out an email letting you know about the Author Mastermind I'm running in November. Something a lot of passionate world changers secretly dream of doing is writing that world-changing book. And it breaks my heart when they go it alone. and have to try and work it all out for themselves, and they're doing their best, but it's really lonely and it's really hard. And I've done that myself. I've got that t-shirt, yeah? So in November, I'm going to guide you through step by step how I have done it it's going to be my 7th book in November. And I asked people what gets in the way of you writing your word-changing book. And almost all of the responses were, well, I'm just too busy. I couldn't do it justice. I don't really know where to start. I'm totally overwhelmed. Yeah? Again, it's focusing on what's missing rather than focusing on what we could achieve or could create and taking lots of tiny steps in that direction. So if that's you, the early bird runs until 5 p.m. today, so you could grab your place for a whole month of masterminding with me for less than the price of a Pick Claire's Brain session. And that's at clairejosa.com/authormastermind/November. So I'd love to hear from you. Today's mindset shift. Instead of focusing on all the things that you can't do to make a difference, what would happen if you celebrated the things that you are doing? How would that change how your body feels, how your thoughts are running, and the kind of actions you're taking? I'd love to hear from you via the comments. I hope you have a fantastic Monday.